Hello, clever people, and welcome to my review for Parasite. So Parasite is a film directed by Bong Joon-ho, and it follows the story of this family of people who are very, very poor, and suddenly one of them gets a job at a person who is much richer. They're hired on as an English tutor, and while working there, they undergo some pretty strange things, and because of that, some pretty strange events happen. I know that plot synopsis is really vague, but that's because if you haven't seen this movie yet, you really don't want to know much going into it. You want to know the least amount possible, because then you won't have any expectations, and therefore what you expect from the movie won't be much, and everything will just be a crazy twist and turn. So Parasite is obviously the most talked about movie of probably the last month. It won Best Picture at the Oscars, it won Best Director, won Best Original Screenplay and International Feature. Everybody is head over heels about this movie. I've actually seen Parasite 4 times now, so I've seen it multiple times, and the reason that I didn't review it when I first saw it was because it was a really busy time of the year. It was around Christmas time, and I wanted to get my review out, but I was still catching up with the reviews from November, and then I made that big video where I reviewed basically every single theatrical movie in December, and I was going to include Parasite in that, but I wanted to make it into its own video, and I ended up not catching up. So now I finally have my review for Parasite out. I got to see it at my local movie theater. It came back because it won Best Picture, and after seeing it for a 4th time, I am still so in love with this movie. If you saw my best films of 2019 video, you will know that I marked this as my number 2 film of the year. After my 4th viewing, I have officially decided to move it to number 1. Parasite is a spectacular film. It is wonderful in so many different ways, and it's a really hard movie to review because there's so many different thoughts going through my head of everything in it that's good that I honestly don't know where to start. I guess I could start with the acting because it's absolutely phenomenal. This won Best Ensemble at the SAG Awards, and there's a very good reason for that. One of the most impressive things to me, and oftentimes it goes to the director even more than the actors, is when you have an ensemble of people that are all so locked in together and so tight that you feel like absolutely any single one of them could be eligible for an Oscar. And after my first time seeing Parasite, I felt that way. I thought that every single actor in this movie was in contention for Best Supporting Actor or Actress. And that's because everybody in this movie is so believable and does such a fantastic job, and a lot of that is with the ensemble, but a lot of that goes to Bong Joon-ho as well. He knew how to direct these group of people so that each one of them would click, so that each family feels so realistic. And the way that Bong Joon-ho builds suspense is absolutely masterful. You think that Parasite is one type of movie, and it turns out to be something completely different. And the thing is, the movie is constantly subverting expectations, it's constantly changing genre, and yet it never feels jarring. Parasite feels like a very fluid and very fun to watch experience. It's 2 hours and 12 minutes, but you don't feel it like at all. You don't feel that runtime at all. And even after my 4th time seeing it, I was still in so much suspense, especially because of the people around me in the theater reacting to it. If you haven't seen it in a theater, definitely go out and see it again, because watching it with a group of people and they're all making reactions to the movie is just so spectacular. And I felt just as much suspense the 4th time, and I also didn't feel the runtime at all. It still felt to me like it flew by like that once the movie was over. And what I was saying about genre earlier and subversion of expectations, it's very, very difficult for a movie to jump around to so many different ideas and so many different genres and make it feel consistent. That's difficult on any platform. Barry is a fantastic example of a show that jumps around to genres constantly, and yet it feels consistent. And the reason for that consistency is that the director creates their own style that feels so unique to that movie that even if it jumps to different genres, you don't really feel it. And that's exactly what Parasite does. This movie feels like it's almost in its own genre entirely, because even though it can be a thriller and a romance and a comedy and a drama all at the same time, it feels consistent because Bong Joon-ho created such a cool and unique atmosphere that I feel like I'll never see in a movie ever again. and the message is really, really poignant. What stuck out to me on repeat viewings of it is that the ending, what I said in my top best films of the year, the reason that I didn't put Parasite at number 1 was because the ending I thought could have been more emotionally impactful, but the fourth time, I almost cried at the ending, and that's why I ended up moving it to my number 1 of the year, was because even with all the suspenseful elements and everything, it still has a very emotional ending. And when you realize what Bong Joon-ho is saying with the ending, not just for the characters, but overall for what the message of the movie is about capitalism and about the way that our economy works, the statements that he's making about it, and the way that it ties into the messages of the movie is so genius. Everything about this movie is genius. This feels like a masterclass in how to properly make movies. I'm serious. I totally see Parasite being in what is considered like the top 5 or the top 10 films of all time 20 years from now, because whenever you get a movie like this that's so unique on its own and combines everything masterful about cinema, it's so hard to find a flaw with it. And in the end, I can't really find a flaw with Parasite. I think that this is a damn near flawless movie. It's absolutely exceptional, and if you have not seen it yet, you must. I know that it is foreign language, and part of Bong Joon-ho's speech at the Golden Globes was that if people can get over the 1-inch barrier of subtitles and get into watching foreign language films, they'll be involved and interested in a whole new world of filmmaking. Parasite, I think, is the stepping ladder for a lot of people into foreign language films, and I think it could be yours. If you're thinking of not watching this movie because it's foreign language and you don't like watching foreign language movies, give this one a shot, because the type of suspense that it has feels very American or just very universal, and I believe that it will appeal to you in a special way, and it will actually help you embrace foreign language movies more. So please check out this movie if you haven't yet. If you have, please let me know what you thought about it. It's a fantastic movie, and I will give Parasite a 9.8 out of 10. Alright, that concludes my review for Parasite. So, what are your thoughts on this movie, or what do you think of other movies by Bong Joon-ho? Comment in the comment section below and let me know. I'm Robert Burke, and this has been The Clever Critics. Goodbye.